Okay, so we're doing a blackout tattoo. I think it's just one today, but it's a whole story. So I haven't read through this. I seen it and went, yeah, this is getting its own episode. So
this one, the title is Blackout Infection, and it's from E.J. Clark. Says, "Hey Remy, recently got a blackout on my forearm, and I'm having some problems with it. I did 4 hours and was pretty beat up afterward. It has been 4 days, and I have seen a dermatologist, and they put me on an antibacterial. After my session, my artist wrapped my tattoo and asked me to leave it on overnight. In the morning, in the shower, had thick slime, venom-like, coming off of it." Ooh, wow.
Venom.
Yeah, that's what he says. Venom-like.
Thick slime is never a good sign.
Coming off it. My artist told me to wash it roughly with my hand in the morning and moisturize it. I asked if I could use coconut oil, and he said yes. I have used it for a couple small tattoos, and it was fine. I washed it multiple times in the first few days, tattooer suggested, and applied a small amount of coconut oil afterwards. My arm and my hand are swollen and extremely painful. Will I lose my arm? What would you recommend not to lose it? Attached photos currently, help please. Well, you're not going to lose your arm.
So yeah, no, like there's so much like to get in, like just to even start with, where it's like, yeah, we had a guy travel down here to see Terry recently, and he wanted like a one-shot blackout, and we won't do that here.
No,
like,
no one should.
Some people will like get upset because they're like, well, Remy had his whole back blacked out one session, twice. So I was like, well, yeah, that's, do as I say, not as I do, because I've been through this a million fucking times. And
Remy has a world record amount of hours of tattoo time.
Yeah.
And he knows when his body...
Unofficially, anyway.
Yeah, but he knows when his body can't handle it.
But, like, it's not recommended to do these huge sessions. And 4 hours of black work, he should have probably got more done than this. So, like... 4 hours of blackout on a forearm is too long to spend blacking out a forearm. That's a lot of trauma.
I'd say he overworked a lot of it.
You should get, if you're doing blackout, you could do a 4 hour, like, full blackout sleeve if you know what you're doing.
And I think that if you're doing 4 hours of blackout, think of it more of like 8 hours of tattooing.
Well, it's just solid saturation, right? So you should move quicker. Like, this is a tiny amount of blackout for that span of time.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
To be just repeatedly needling someone for that long, you're doing a lot of damage.
So I think part of the problem is that you definitely had a lot of overwork.
But you see it even in this here. But anyway, I also think the aftercare advice was terrible, and the tattooer should probably be stopped.
Well, I mean, if they haven't done a lot of blackouts or a lot of full color saturation, maybe they don't know how to heal something
Advising
like that.
someone to wash their tattoo multiple times a day and moisturize their tattoo after washing it, and to roughly scrub your arm clean in the morning after your shower or whatever is weird.
Know.
And also, I don't really recommend wrapping blackouts. Like, if you're going to do anything, do the blue bandage.
Yeah, a meat pad, like a big meat pad.
Well, all this saturation and blood, the blood and plasma, is just going to create like this gunk layer, right? Where it's just
the venom-like layer.
But it's gonna slime off. The wrap isn't gonna hold.
Well, and it's those wraps. Like, there's no way to wrap this in a way that it's going to seal properly.
Yeah.
So you might as well just not wrap it, because instead of having it sit in its own bacteria,
something's gonna get inside of it. Is the thing.
That's what I'm trying to point out. Yeah.
It creates like this bacteria trap where. Anything that does get in there, say a spore gets in there, and we have staph on our skin always.
Always.
So it's just looking for a way to get in there, and then all of a sudden it can blow up, And while, you're probably not going to lose your arm, anytime you have to use antibacterial, antibiotics is what I mean to say.
Well,
he said antibacterial.
And it was from a dermatologist, so I'm wondering if he actually got an antibiotic or just an antibacterial ointment.
I mean...
because my advice would be, if you didn't get an antibiotic, I would go to your doctor.
You better get an antibiotic. I don't really agree with putting more creams on things that are already wet.
And I think that's something that we should always mention again. blackouts, when they get wet and seepy, you should always opt to dry them out and do less lotion.
Anything that's like any of the full color work that I'm doing, and everything I'm doing is full color. There's nothing that I do that isn't full color. Like, there are no ways to tattoo over a blackout that are line style that will work. Just putting it out there. Not well, anyway. Everything that I get done these days is a version of full color. So if I get out of the shower and I see some weepy spots, I don't lotion those spots. Like, I'll lotion around them maybe, but like sometimes not even. Like, it's just about like reading your body, and I know that's hard for people who don't get tattooed very often, but like, if you are getting tattooed a lot, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Well, I think a lot of people are afraid to let their tattoo get a little bit dry.
A little dry is good. I think too dry is bad. Like, a girl here at the shop the other day was showing me her healing leg, and it was like sandpaper dry, and it's like, put some fucking lotion on that. What the fuck are you doing?
And I'm always trying to tell like clients that I'm always like, you want it to be like a bit dry, but not too dry. Like, if it's flaky, put some lotion on it.
When you do put lotion on it, it should just be enough that it's like,
great.
It looks, shiny, but it's not like sopping wet.
Yes, and I always tell them to go on the minimal side of lotion.
I used to overdo my aftercare. Like, when I worked in the kitchen, I would put on like one thick coat of Aquaphor in the morning because I knew that it was going to dry out a lot throughout the day.
I also feel like it was like kind of a weird protective barrier from the kitchen.
I mean, I didn't really have any problems.
I know.
Like, I've had 2 infections in my life, and I've been tattooed for like 2,100 hours or something crazy like this. So, I mean, so far so good. But these days, it really is just real simple for me. It's just few hours after the appointment, have a shower, a little bit of Aquaphor, wake up in the morning, shower clean, Aquaphor, and then again at the end of the day. I don't even clean it when I apply the Aquaphor the next time. I only clean my tattoo twice.
Yeah.
Then it's just general upkeep. Cleaning it multiple times a day is crazy.
Well, you're just pissing it off.
Yeah, you're
reopening
just
things,
irritating it.
Getting
Let
it too
be.
moist. So then we got like an update. It says, here are some updated photos of my forearm healed. I have booked with a different artist who has more experience with black work. That's smart. My appointment is at the end of March. I was thinking of having her start at my shoulder to let this completely heal before the second pass on it. My last question is, would I need a second pass on my whole arm to match these blacks? Yes,
Definitely.
you would.
Every artist has a different black. Like, this is another thing. Like, so I was working with Lee and Rick. Like, for Blackout, and Rick did my legs. They took way longer. They were quite a bit darker, but they weren't as smooth as Lee's black. So then it's like, okay, well, I have to have Rick redo my arms now.
Yeah, I remember you being like, really like, oh.
Well, it's just a different black, even though both were good.
And they were both using the same ink.
Yep.
It was just one was, I don't know, getting it in a different layer or getting it.
I'm sorry, though, that won't make sense for some people, but it doesn't need to. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Like, you have 2 high-level artists have a different approach to even how they saturate skin. I'm sure you're already seeing this.
And there's also, and there's
how many people are giving you the exact same advice?
Almost. Like, not. They're very similar.
So that only gets more so the more you get into this.
In our shop, it's pretty similar because they're teaching like between each other. What?
But like in the extremities of things, all of those little things that people pick up and alter along the way get more and more.
Yeah, it's all I do. I kind of do it this way. But anyways, let's talk about the tattoo. I really want to point out that there's still a lot of red.
Oh yeah, it's going to heal into a yellowy like skin tone.
Like a greeny yellow color.
Yeah.
And I think you want to wait until it's that greeny yellow color before you tattoo over this,
Yeah, you don't
right?
tattoo over pink. It's still healing.
Yeah, because I was just talking to Lee about like tattooing over scars, and I was like, when is it okay to tattoo over scars? And he said, if they're pink, you can't tattoo them.
Yeah, well, that's
right?
just... That's the general rule, and I would even wait longer. Like, but that being said, like, he probably won't. I would let it mellow out quite a bit, and yeah, of course, the whole thing would need to be passed. Yeah. Even if they were going to be the exact same tattoo or the exact same ink, everything, like where you had an infection versus where you potentially don't have an infection.
It's going to need a second pass.
All of the infected tissue will need to be gone over. So, and by the way, the texture of it will be slightly different anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, you can't. That's now scar tissue.
Anywhere. Well, I mean, then there'll be varying degrees of that, right? So, like, some parts of this are worse than others.
Mm-hmm.
Some parts might be almost unnoticeable, and other parts will be, very, very noticeable.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they get a little angry when you tattoo over them. Like, I wouldn't be surprised about that.
Yeah, it'll probably feel worse too. See, like, I'm sure it does, but because I tattoo over scar tissue all the time, I'm very it's very hard for me to even comment because most parts of my body have some parts that are scarred.
Oh, yeah.
And since so many people ask what it feels like to tattoo an area 20 plus times in some cases, sometimes 30 plus times, some areas get less sensitive and some areas get more sensitive.
Oh, I believe that.
Like, there's a varying degree of sensitivity that increases and decreases as the layers add up. It's not an exact science, but it probably will hurt more. And because you don't have a wealth of experience, it might even be very, very bad. Like, I remember on our wedding, the time we took wedding off.
Our time off,
Yeah,
like our honeymoon.
I had my right hand infection touched up, and I had my left palm tattooed. And guess which one hurt more? The right hand, by a long shot.
Also gives you a little glimpse into our life.
Well, I'm always
Remy's
healing.
out getting tattooed during our honeymoon.
I'm always healing. Always. There's no
it's so
time when
cute.
I'm always healing something. And so I do think that should make me an expert on giving aftercare advice.
For sure.
And I think it's very simple. Like, what I've learned is it's very simple.
Well,
People want to fuck with all kinds of different
You don't
methods.
have to go crazy. People just are extra and I'm
Find an aftercare that you like. I don't really like coconut oil. I don't think that's a good idea, but whatever. I'm not going to get heavy into that. I've had lots of people mention it. So someone really likes coconut oil.
it's an ingredient in a lot of those ointments anyways.
I just think that, find whatever one you like and use a light amount of it twice a day. Don't over clean it. Don't over moisturize it. Don't over dry it. Like, if you see your skin is dry in general in life, you're like, oh, I need to moisturize. That's still a rule with tattoos, in my opinion.
This is why I wouldn't use coconut oil. This is just my opinion. This is why I wouldn't use it. Coconut oil stays greasy for a really long time.
Some of them do. Some of the aftercares do too.
Right, and so
Tattoo goo.
I lean away from things that stay, especially if I'm doing something that has this much saturation. I would lean away from something that stays greasy for a long time, because if that's on the surface of your skin, it's catching bacteria.
You should be getting something that soaks into you.
Yeah, that's what I think.
But anyway,
I like stuff that soaks in.
This is not we're not seeing the actual healed result for some reason. Maybe it's not fully healed. We're just seeing healing still. So I don't think this is anywhere close to as bad as it could have been.
No, I think I was expecting it to look way worse.
I mean, maybe it does now, after all the healing is done.
Because it looks healed to you, but under the surface it's probably still healing for sure.
Oh, it doesn't look healed to me at all.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
They think it's healed. Whoever this is thinks it's
still
healed.
very fresh.
I don't think this is fully healed either.
I'd like to see the healed reveal of this and see what we're actually working with.
I also wanted to add quickly too, if this is a staph infection on your skin, I would just really pay attention to the next few times you get tattooed.
Yeah,
because
takes a while.
It seems like it can pop back up and it stays in your system a little bit.
Yeah, it's looking for a way to break out again.
Especially if you didn't take antibiotics for it. So I would just really pay attention to your healing going forward.